diving in and talking about, like Britt said, relationships and like accountability within relationships. Like, what does that look like, right? But before we can jump into that, I want to hear from the both of y'all, right? So, Kennedy and Princess, what do you think makes, whether it's you a good partner or a good partner in general, like what overall, what makes somebody a good partner? And Princess, you can start.
I feel like you were gonna go with me first. Um, a good partner, I feel like for one, someone who is open-minded and willing to communicate. If you don't have someone that's willing to communicate with you and be open, then I don't feel like that they can be a good partner. And also, a part of communication is to be able to be understanding, and also being receptive of what other people have to say to you. I feel like that's kind of like the basis of just being a good partner to someone.
So, like, in that sense, I agree with openness. I also think being a good partner starts with knowing what that the person needs to know what they want. Like, I think both sides, they need to know what they want, because I think, like, with the open-mindedness, you got to know what you want to be open-minded to change. If you don't know what you want, you just open to everything that comes your way. You feel me? So I feel like, yes, you need to be open-minded. You got to have the communication. I feel like anybody that graduated from high school should have basic communication skills. Just period. And but it's like I do. You learn your feelings in like kindergarten, but I think you just got to know what you want. You know what I'm saying? I think you got to know what you want, because what I see a lot in partnerships is just a lack of knowing, like knowing what you're supposed to be giving this person versus the willingness that we think people don't want to do. So I just think knowing what you want and then communicating that and being open-minded to the changes that come with that communication.
That's good. I think a lot of people don't know what they want. I think, and the reason why they don't know what they want is because they don't know themselves.
Mm,
And they so quickly try and jump into relationships with other people, but it's like, okay, what about self first? You sitting here trying to make something work, but like you really don't even know what you want for self first. So I think it's important to know what you want for yourself. So far as what makes a good partner, though, I'm big on friendships. I know a lot of people might not feel this way, but I do think the best foundation for a lot of relationships is having a friendship within that, whatever y'all build prior to or even during. Um, it kind of sets the tone, because I feel like if I can't be your friend, like if I can't confide in you, if I can't consider you as like my best friend, because ultimately that's what my end goal is, for you to be my partner, lover, friend, all that stuff. It's just not gonna work. So yeah, I'm heavy on the friendship part. I know a lot of people like blind date, and oh, but we're not really friends, or why do we have to be friends first, or whatever question may come to mind. I just kind of think that it sets the tone for the foundation, period.
Yeah, I think for me, like I feel I agree with what all y'all was saying, and I think a big piece though is when it comes down to the communication piece. I think it's being able to say the things that are not working for you, um, and being able to have those conversations early on, because like there are some things I feel like, and I say this a thousand times in so many conversations, we tend to date potential, just
Who was
all
doing
around,
we?
both both men and women,
Oh,
both
okay.
men and
I'll
women.
just make it okay. I got you.
Yeah, I got you. We, all of us.
All right.
Um, because for a lot of stuff, like there's an ideal person that we all have, right? We all have, like, on paper they should do this and they got to be like this. And then when we meet somebody that has even some of them or makes us feel a certain way, we're like, okay, well, I know I said I don't like people that smoke cigarettes, but like if I could let that slide for a little bit, because they gonna change, because they gonna just love me so much. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of times, and I've heard this a lot, people say that there's certain non-negotiables, but there's
Mm-hmm.
always an exception to the rule.
Mm.
And it just takes that one person that we feel can be that exception to the rule. In my mind, that's then dating potential, right? So I think being able to have those conversations up front about, like, hey, these are my non-negotiables, or yo, you did this, it was really not I wasn't feeling it and not waiting to have those conversations. Like, no, I'm gonna tell you today, if you did something that I didn't like, I will talk about it today. So that when we have an argument later on and I decide to walk away from this, you can't say, oh, well, you didn't say anything. You never told me that. I didn't know that.
So
Go ahead.
Matt asked a question to what you just said, just real quick.
Of course.
I agree with everything you said. But don't you feel like if you come into it thinking of the partnership long term, if you come into it and don't let it happen authentically and you start with those conversations up front, there's a chance that somebody may just respond in the way that you just told them versus you knowing that that's them authentically. Like, meaning like if we don't roll into this and let us be ourselves, and because a lot of people try to like stop things from happening at the beginning because they, oh no, I don't like this, that, and the third. But like, don't you somewhat gotta have a sense of authenticity, know this actually can be a companion, and then maybe 3 months down the road something happens, and then the conversation to be had instead of date number 2, like, hey, look, this is what I don't like. Because you never know if that person are doing them things off the strength or just because you communicated that. You know what I'm saying? So like, would that really build to have a strong foundation, having those conversations, quote unquote, upfront? Does that make sense what I said?
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with you 100%. I think that telling them off rip might do exactly what you just said. It might allow them an opportunity to prepare when it's really not them. So if you say, if they say something like, oh, she gotta cook, you know doggone well you ain't never cooked a day in your life, especially for no nigga. And now all of a sudden you in the kitchen flipping, flipping, what is it, the flick of the wrist? Like you ain't, you're changing who you are to fit what that person wants, but that's not really you. And then it snowballs into this whole like, damn, then you unhappy, then you trying to figure out, well, what's wrong with the relationship. No, it started off bad because you were trying to conform to something that you're really not. So I 100% agree with maybe not off rip, like telling them. But then, Asia, it does make sense to do that because how comfortable are people really even talking about those things? And they do take on, these relationships where it's like, okay, I can kind of make it work, but we're not communicating and we're not having that conversation. So it's kind of like, well, when do you kind of step in to have that conversation? Like, what time is the best time?
Yeah, I'm not talking like date number 1, right? Or date number 2. And I do want to say this. So when we think about the cooking piece, right? Only because you brought it up, Britt. I feel like there's a honeymoon stage. We all know that. We're fully aware of that. I feel like a lot of times, and I'll speak for me, right? In the past, I have done things that I think would make me the ideal candidate for that individual. So for instance, I don't cook all the time for myself. Oh, but if he's coming over, oh, I'm cooking. Oh, I'm gonna prepare a little something, right? Because in my mind, that's what I want him to see. In the same way, I feel like dudes in the beginning, they'll pay for dates. They'll think of different date ideas to do, or they do want to talk on the phone all the time. Knowing good and doggone well, they don't actually like being on the phone all the time, but they do it to make themselves the ideal candidate. Because until it's solidified, there are other candidates out there. So in my mind, I feel like people put up a front in the beginning, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. There are certain things that you don't do in your everyday life that you do when you're just meeting somebody because you're trying to impress them. That's at the end of the day. So for me, I feel like if I know that I'm tolerating, I'll just and I feel like there's certain conversations, right? So sometimes people can change over time, right? People do bend to things that they like and that they don't like. But I feel like when it comes down to like non-negotiables, right? And I'll just keep, because this is a recent thing that happened with me, the smoking cigarettes thing. I really cannot stand it. I really cannot.
It's a non-negotiable for me too.
It's a non-negotiable, right? But here's the thing. I said, you know what? This is an eligible bachelor. You know what I'm saying? Let me just, maybe if he just smokes outside. No, for real. And then we had a conversation one day and I said, yeah, I'm getting a headache. Like I really am. I'm physically getting a headache from this. And I thought I could. And he was like, nah, because I'm going to stop smoking in June. I said, okay, bet. So you gonna go cold turkey? Like, what does that look like for you? And then starting to see that in some of the conversations that we were having, I know I'm breaking up, but in some of the conversations that we were having, it went from like, okay, I'm only going to smoke outside to now he's not just smoking outside anymore. So for me, it's like, it's seeing how over time, it's like we didn't even get to June and you said you was going to smoke outside and you're not even doing that. Now I feel comfortable having another conversation,
For sure.
right? About
Yeah,
some of those things. So
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. I can see it that way. Let me see. So when we talk about these relationships, right? We're heavy into these relationships. When it comes down to question,
Hmm.
what's greater, love or respect?
Damn. I'm not you on this one, bro.
Keenan, we gonna start with you because we started with Princess last time.
Bro, so I ain't trying to get a PC answer, but this is the truth. It at first love, and then it switches over to respect. Cause that like you know what I'm saying, like at the beginning, you never stop loving a person, being in love. Well, some people may stop being in love, whatever the case may be. But like love is very important. You know what I'm saying? But when it switches over to respect, because in a very real, authentic way that people will never want to decide. After a while, you make a decision, unless people being reckless, you'll be like, you know what? This is what I want. You're not going nowhere. I'm not gonna let you go nowhere. The woman, the man you with, like, you know, we're gonna lock in. This is what we want, right? That love thing may go out the window every now and again. You understand what I'm saying? So you gotta have respect for how this person moves, their thoughts, what they've done for you up until that point. So like after y'all have crossed the threshold, like locked in, respect has to play a bigger factor than love, because there's gonna be some shit that happen that you're not gonna be with, but you gotta respect the things that's been done, the things that like you gotta respect the person for who they are, because everybody's not themselves every day. So that love shit don't get you through that all the time. In my opinion, in my experience, you know what I'm saying? My 13 years.
Okay. Princess.
I
Okay.
agree.
You said
Go
what
ahead.
age? What age you say?
But yeah, I can hear.
I
What you
said,
say, Asia?
I said okay, flex, because he said, me and my 13 years.
No,
Oh,
but it's not that. I had to give context though. You know what I'm saying? I just had to give a little context. Just a little context. That's it. A little bit. You know what I'm saying? No context.
yeah. I was saying I agree though. Like we talked about this. Well, not this specific topic, but like on another podcast where I said that I strongly feel that like is greater than love, and so I kind of feel like it goes into that same conversation because I feel like love kind of shifts and changes sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's about that foundation, that friendship, that like for the person as you continue to grow and like them through all the different seasons in life. And I feel like at the end of the day, certain stuff you just won't do out of respect for a person. That's the way that I look at it. And I feel like that's greater than just the love that you have for somebody. If I truly respect you, it don't matter if I am upset or, we may be going through like a whatever. This could be romantic or like friendship, whatever, family. Like out of respect, some things I'm just not gonna do. Some lines I'm just not gonna cross. So I think respect is greater.
And to not be PC, I'm gonna go with what Princess said. I'm gonna double up on that. I'm gonna say respect. Because they both a choice. To be real, like I get the little feeling, but they both a choice, low key. Like you love, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with respect too, because bro, love cool, but like love don't actually make you do anything positive if you think about it. Like it really don't. You know what I'm saying? Because I got way
Listen,
more.
people can throw the love word around
Mm-hmm.
like it's nothing, but you can't throw the respect word around without showing it. Like respect to me is more of an action. I know love is an action word too, but if my dude comes in and he says, "Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you too," but like if he says, "Oh, I respect you," okay, but what? And you treating me like trash? I just feel like those two things kind of that's what makes a difference. Respect is kind of founded on values, like on how you value your partner. So if my partner does not value me, he's not going to respect me. Vice versa. If I don't value him, I'm not going to respect him. So love to me, like, yeah, you need love in a relationship. However, I'm gonna have to go with. I was listening to you, Ken. You know, I was about to counteract because I was with respect.
Yeah, yeah.
Circled back, but yeah, I'm 100% going with respect is better than, not better than, but if one over the other, respect. You can't get respect everywhere, but people deserve respect everywhere. So I think it outweighs love.
So can I ask just real quick? Like, I got a little,
Go
real
ahead.
quick little, you're saying about the respect love thing. So is it true if you with somebody, ladies, in this realm, and he tells you something that he did or tells you something he disliked, something that's a fork in the road, basically. Like, may not be him cheating, it may be something that he really hasn't been feeling. Do y'all really respect him for telling you, or is it gonna get him in the doghouse anyway? Since y'all talking about y'all love respect so much, do you really respect him from, like, you know, he came to me with this, I didn't like it, but I gotta respect the fact he came with me with this, or is it like, hell no, what you mean?
You saying it's something that he did though?
Still? No. I'm saying it may. So I'm saying, like, I don't know, just want to that context and the context of like him bringing something he's really afraid to say because he doesn't want to hurt your feelings, but it may not be cheating. You understand what I'm saying? Like, something that there's been a disconnect between you and him that will be hurtful when communicated, not intentionally, but yeah, you have real conversations when you with somebody. Do you respect the fact that he brought it to you, or does it just cause turmoil? Because I feel like that's what I want. That's what it with the respect love thing.
I would respect it.
Yeah, it brings. Wait, no, seriously, it's not. You said it though. You said it though, because you did say that it's not. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not gonna hurt.
Right.
Like, yeah, it might hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't have to come to me and tell me anything. You respect me enough to have this conversation, so I gotta respect you for even having the balls to sit down and tell me this to my face, because you already know how I am. I'm gonna pop off. But that doesn't mean that I don't respect you coming to me, or we don't have enough respect for each other to have this conversation. And then it brings awareness. Like, you brought awareness to a situation, whether it's good or bad, so we can either build in our relationship or we can let this go right now. But the respect factor is still there. We respect each other enough to have this conversation. So yeah, I'm still hanging on respect.
Respect does not mean an absence of consequences, though. And I feel like that should
say that again.
Noted.
That's the one. Yes, run it back.
Respect doesn't mean an absence of consequences.
Let me write that down.
Under what context? Give me a situation that you respect it, and it's like, but you about to, like Brittany said, she's still gonna pop off.
Okay, bet. So, and
not cheating. That's
because
easy.
No, not cheating. It doesn't have to be cheating. But let's say, and the consequences don't have to be dire, right? Like, for instance, let's say I've been cooking this meal and I thought it tastes bomb. And this whole time you've been eating the same meal. Now today you want to tell me and let me know the truth that, hey, babe, I do not like the way you make this baked chicken. It is dry. It's dry. Now, if I so choose, if I respect that, thank you for letting me know. And if I feel like in my feeling, I'm like, yo, now we gonna order out for the rest of the week. That's a consequence financially. Now, all right, bet. I'm not gonna cook then for the week. Now you have an opportunity now to then cook in the kitchen this week. That is now a consequence of your time. It's like I said, it doesn't have to be dire, but there's still there. I can respect the fact that you said it. To Britt's point, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I respect you for bringing that to my attention, because now in the future, my feelings are hurt right now, but I bet you I'm not gonna make that baked chicken because I know you don't like it.
Ever again.
You can just fix the baked chicken. Or you could just fix the baked chicken.
She might not know how. She might be doing the best she can. If
I've been making the baked chicken the way I think it's supposed to be made, oh, my feelings are hurt. My feelings are
never making baked chicken again.
But all I'm gonna say is, see, this is what I'm saying. This is all I'm gonna say though. I feel like the consequence of saying, like, you know what, I'm done with cooking baked chicken. It's like, damn, why did I say something? Because now
you don't want the baked chicken again, though.
Baked chicken.
So under her context, it wasn't a flavor thing. It was a juicy thing. That's like an adjustment on the time. But I just lost out on all baked chicken because I told you about your little food. I don't think that's a fair consequence. See what I'm saying? See how Brittany is?
We gonna fry the chicken then.
You see
Like
what I'm
that
saying?
because
See,
I'm
but
not
that's,
making no more
but
chicken.
that's two different things. Britt is legit saying we're not having baked chicken ever again in my mind, right? Because for instance, as a person like me, if I really gave my effort and I really, to Princess' point, I really might not know how to make this chicken any more juicy. Now I'm a cook, but I know to cook. Okay, I'm a cook what you like to eat. Just give me some time and maybe I want to try to give. That's vulnerability because now you're asking her to be. That's vulnerability, especially stereotypically speaking. The woman is supposed to quote unquote know how to cook. So the fact that she wasn't able to do that correctly, and she put herself out there, yeah, her feelings are allowed to be hurt.
Yep.
The respect that you said something though. And it doesn't have to be an attitude because the way you're receiving it is like, see, now she never gonna cook ever again. Why did I say anything? But you're not allowing her room to feel and have a response to what you said. The fact that you said anything, your truth is your truth. It was some dry ass chicken. And she can definitely have her feelings hurt off that. If she thought she was doing all right. Give her some grace.
I agree though. But my follow-up will only be, we're gonna keep it on the chicken, you know what I'm saying? Dry ass chicken, right? You feel your feelings. If you Brittany, we frying it. If it's you stopping, Princess, what you doing?
I might will try again, but it's gonna be a minute. Like I need my time because my feelings are hurt. And then I can come back and that's like you give a little bit more context. And I say, babe, what do I need to fix, babe? And I can get in there and do it again. Now, damn it, if I get in there and try again, if the chicken still ain't right for you, then we might just cut it out. You know what? We go to outhouse because this ain't it.
That was a hell of a finesse, bro. That was good.
I ain't cooking no more
the point I was making is if it was y'all two's responses, like y'all, like she know her response would be, because that. But anyway, but what I'm saying is, I do think, real talk, in certain situations, if it would hurt your feelings to the point where you wasn't willing to try it again, it would make me not want to say something. If I hurt your feelings to the point where you wouldn't do it again, it's like, respect or not, like, bro, I'm not about to do that, because the goal, we knew you weren't gonna like it, but the goal wasn't to cut that deep where it's like, hell no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could get that. That comes with levels of maturity too in your relationship. Like, how mature are y'all? You know, to have that type of you got to know your partner. If you know she's super sensitive, then you know.
Brittany, did you just put sensitive and pop off in like the same segment of pot? Did you just put sensitive and pop off in the same, like, little, you know what I'm saying?
I there's certain things where I'm like, you know, he knows me. So like, if you said something, I'm never doing it again. You will never have to worry about that again. Oh, you thought I was bigger in that red dress? Oh, I'm never wearing that dress again. I don't care how much weight I lose, how much weight I gain. I'm never wearing that dress ever again in my life. So I hear you, and it makes a lot of sense, but you also have to know your partner and how far to go. Like he could have swung that conversation, that comment a little, like, yeah, this chicken good, but you know, it could use a little extra, little razzle dazzle or whatever it is to make her feel like, oh, okay, I could have did something different next time, versus this chicken is dry. Why are we eating this? Like, you know, your delivery is everything too. You got to know your partner.
Do y'all feel the same way when y'all communicate something y'all like? Are y'all watching y'all delivery, or people better just take it the way y'all say it?
I watch my
delivery. I say all the time, I have to make sure I'm saying it in a polite tone. I have to watch my tone. So, yeah. But I have another question though about the whole respect thing. Outside of the chicken, let's just say, since we're talking about relationships, what if it's something in the bedroom? That's an uncomfortable conversation if your partner is not pleasing you or did something that you did not like, right? So one, how long are you going to let that go on and pretend or not pretend before you say something? And if you say something, do you allow your partner that time to, because it probably will hurt my feelings because I thought I was, you know. And allow me to be in that, but then back to the other point, at that point, am I just going to be like, all right, you said you ain't like that position or whatever, never doing that again? Or will I be like, okay, give me a minute, but I'll try it again, to see if we can get this right. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to please each other. But that also goes into respect. I respect you enough to let you know that this ain't it, babe. But I want it to be it, but this ain't it right now.
Y'all want? I can answer that. Y'all go first. I've been talking a lot.
I've had the conversation.
Got to.
In the morning. If it happened at night, in the morning. Oh, so
Good
you were just trying to kill
gracious.
me. You were just really trying to dead me, unalive me.
Good gracious alive.
That part, that trick. Nah. We're gonna have to think of something else.
Wasn't the conversation about is like how do you bring it to them?
This is legit how I had the conversation. This
Good
is like
night.
for me, like, and the way that I say certain things too, because I think it also depends. So like if it's like a trying something new thing and it just doesn't work, then that's like that's how I said it. Right.
That's real.
And, so that we done tried it. That was we gonna have to figure something else out.
That's real.
If it is something that like I realized like, that's like their move or that's their thing. I'm a fan of having a conversation of, hey, am I satisfying you sexually? What are the things that you like? How could that have been better for you? Like, I'm a huge fan. I tell you all the time, I love challenging or critical conversations. For me, that's just another one because I'm not about to sit here and then have to go through that every night.
That's real.
Yeah, I don't know.
you so
Brittany said no comment.
Yeah.
So I'll jump out there. So I think it's two things. The new thing is very, very true. I think the new thing is way easier than like the move thing. Secondly, there's like twice a year when you're in a relationship with somebody, when you're in a relationship with a woman, there's like twice a year where she's like completely open, receiving everything you say. And I'm gonna be real. It's usually typically, I promise you, this is science. I promise you, it's usually at like go on a banging ass vacation and have to drive back like 3 or 4 hours with just you and her, where you just like reflecting. It's like the most open fucking conversation you'll ever have. Like you reflecting about how much fun you had. Oh my God, I love to do this again. Why that trip back, if the vacation was good, is like the most open they'll be in their life. I promise you. So like those times, but I also think as a dude, she tells you that without telling you that, and you really got to pay attention. She tells you those things without actually telling you. And if you do not pick up on it, your feelings gonna get hurt from that conversation.
Yeah.
And it's very subtle, but you can notice it if you align. Now, if you in savage mode where you just want to get off all the time, you know what I'm saying? You jackrabbiting all the time, that ain't a mode in which the conversation gonna come through. But if you really like Princess and Asia said, like we trying to do this thing together, you'll either notice or she'll do something to let you know that's very subtle, but you know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, those conversations are tough.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna be real and say that I don't blatantly come out and have those conversations. I'm more of a subliminal person. So I'll be like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I ain't even gonna go there. I was gonna say something real stupid, y'all. But yeah, I'm the type of person that sends a subliminal message. Like, don't to make you understand. Like, don't try that again. Now, if it's a bad part, like prior to marriage, if it was a bad partner, that I think I was more open. And because I'm not, I that's a big thing for me, and I'm not going to continue a relationship with somebody that I know that level of intimacy in the bedroom for me doesn't work. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I know for a fact that we just don't connect. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Then I'm having that conversation. But so far as if you're trying something new or doing something new and I don't, it didn't stick the way you thought it was going to stick, like, then I'm it's just subliminals. I'll send subliminals all day.
For sure.
You get it.
It is sticking, and I think it goes back to like what you said earlier. You got to be mature, and you got to be secure. That is not like. See, I think the thing is, if it's a bad move, cool. If you're bad, it's a wrap. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if it's a bad move, like I won't feeling that. I think that makes the conversation scary because then it becomes a disconnect of interest in overall versus like, you know what I'm saying? And the worst for a guy, the worst thing is if you think you the man and you're not.
Yep.
That's so I think it go and I've always said this. I've said this on many of episodes. What men gotta realize, fellas, y'all gonna have to pay me for this and drop my cash out. If you go to if it's a basketball game, if you go to the training room, you get proper treatment, you warm up correctly, the game is easy. But a lot of dudes don't think that way. They think you just show up and play. That's not the case. You gotta go to the war. You gotta go to the layup line. You gotta get the coach's speech. Then you start the game. You don't just show up and play. I'm gonna let people take that as they may.
Yeah.
Completely understand. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Cash out me, fellas.
I think that makes sense, right? And that leads into the next question. And it really is, let's say your partner is bringing that to you though, right? Like, so there's something that you are doing, like you're on the receiving end. You're not the one that necessarily has to give the conversation, has to start that, but you're the one on the receiving end. And whether that is like, whether the chicken is dry, or whether, you're not satisfying them in the bedroom, or you just did something that they don't like, that doesn't make them feel good, right? How do you, like, what does accountability look like in those instances?
Boy, y'all trying to get me say some stuff up here, boy. I don't think it's my turn. I think it got to be Princess' turn.
You're gonna have to go. Like you have something already, and I don't.
So my rule of thumb is I am always open to my wife telling me how she feels. Mm-hmm. However, I am allowed to ask questions. I won't rebuttal, like, oh, but I get to ask clarifying questions. Reason being, it helps me. So my whole thing is when in a tough conversation, I don't really try to debunk what's being said. I try to ask things like, what did I do to make you feel that way? Or what could I have done differently? Things like that, because then if what she tells me is something that's realistic, I know that like, okay, cool. But if something that's being said is like far-fetched, then it's hard for me I don't want to say it's hard for me to take accountability, but if she brings me with something and I ask clarifying questions and it's nowhere near on the same playing field, it's hard for me to say that it was me while what anything happened. You know what I'm saying? If I can ask like, well, hey, what such and such, and she says something like, damn, okay, I get you. My bad on that. But there's a lot of factors into those conversations, especially in instances where something gets brought to you. She could have been having a shit day, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of factors that may have caused this argument, this whatever. And then you bring it to me and I'm like, oh, like, how did that happen? Like, what did I do that day to make you feel this way? And if that doesn't align with what I did that day, I don't feel like that's a Keenan thing at that point. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is like, if I need to ask a question and I can understand what I did, and that's actually what I did, and I'm a perspective person, and I try to do my best to understand different perspectives. I'm gonna say that's me. I'm gonna take, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say that's me 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? So when you bring it to me, it gotta make sense. That's all I'm like. It gotta make sense. It can't be no, oh, you did this, and I ask you like, oh, how that happen? Because no, you have to tell me more than that. You ain't gonna just get me by telling me, and like, no, that's not gonna happen. But
but do things always, not to cut you off, I didn't mean to cut you off. You good. That. Do things always make sense to you? Because if she comes at you with that, and you're just like, that's still not making sense to me. That goes to back to Princess's point about being open-minded, closed-minded, whatever. Like, does it always make sense to you, or are you gonna tell her like, nah, you gotta come harder than that because I'm not getting it?
So do things always make sense? Y'all are women, so no. Now, however, I don't ever think it's like you gotta come harder. This is my thing, and I can only speak for myself in this specific situation. I've worked really hard at understanding my wife without her telling me. Like, there's certain movements and things I realize that she ain't really got to say it, and I already know. There's certain things she says, and I know what she's telling me without her actually saying that thing. So for me personally, it's like, not that I don't understand it, but if she says something that's new, I'm going to sit back and observe like, damn, okay, let me figure out this. And I will ask questions in a different space. You know what I'm saying? Like, let the space get back normal, and then I can go back and ask questions about that time. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to like perspectives. I don't think so. To answer your question, Brittany, no, it's not always you got to come harder. I just think that it has to be in the realm of your norm somewhat, because everybody has like a norm reaction to things. You know what I'm saying? And if the situation is unique, then the reaction is going to be unique. But if it's not, I will spend the time to figure out why it's that way.
Okay, makes sense. Princess?
And I think that to add to that, I think it comes also with just being self-aware, because sometimes people bring stuff to us and we know ourselves, and we probably know that we may have been trying it a little bit, or like,
that's good.
Back to Keena's comment about in the bedroom where he said, you know, like, or Britt, you said like people, you know, you drop your little like subliminals, or you can tell from a body's reaction. So it may already be in the back of your mind, but it's like, if they don't say nothing, then okay, we're gonna keep going with it. So I feel like when people bring stuff to your attention, a lot of times, well, I'm gonna say a lot of times, but sometimes, you know, that self-awareness will kick in. It's like I already kind of, I was awaiting the conversation. So it doesn't mean that it still doesn't bother you or hurt you, but at least you kind of felt that it was coming just from knowing your partner.
And women
or knowing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, you know, even with the cooking, like, you know, you might just be like, I know I really can't cook like that, but I be cooking for my man. You know what I mean?
Because there's an accountability discrepancy between men and women. I will say that.
What you mean?
Brittany, you know what I mean. I ain't trying to start nothing. You don't start no more.
Yeah, you are, because you said it.
There is.
Do say more. Do say more.
I will say this, and I will stand in this one. There is an accountability discrepancy between men and women. There is.
Okay,
so
tell us more.
Elaborate. Tell us more. Yeah.
Let's take Princess told herself without even knowing she told herself. Let's take I know I'm doing this, but if he don't say nothing, I'm gonna let it ride. Or I know what I can get away with him. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna do what he allows me to do. And let's say it happens 6 times, and on the 6th, you're like, hey, yo, come on now. Like, yo, then it's like, what? But you just know you got away with it 5 times. And on the 6th one, you trying to act surprised, like, what? I'm like, come on now. Like, damn. Like, me and you both know you getting over. Me and you both know you getting what you want. Like, damn, now you riding the wave a little too hard. But it's not going to be an acknowledgement of, okay, you're right. Like, damn, okay, I know I got it. It's not.
If you're self-aware.
Like 9 times out, and not in my experiences, look, I can speak, we've worked through that, and I've been around a lot of women couples. So I'm just saying there's a discrepancy.
Men don't do the same thing?
Absolutely.
Are you saying that men also don't get away with things that women just let slide? Or are you saying that because women are more vocal about what's not working for them and the things that they won't let slide, then that's what, like, what exactly you're saying? Because
what I'm saying is, if something is a guy, first of all, is less likely to do that, to keep trying something. They like, we just don't do it. Like we will. I'm not talking about. Let me say this disclaimer. We eliminating all like dudes that wouldn't even be at the table. We eliminating all them. We not even talking about the dudes that's, you know what I'm saying, fuck boys are. We ain't even talking about them. You know what I'm saying? They off the table. What I'm saying is a guy that's about his stuff is not going to finesse that much to the point where it's going to make her have to tell him like, all right, bro, we're not. The same way when things go south in discussions or in arguments, a guy is more likely to be like, you know what? I'm going to take the hit because I want us to get through it. I'm not saying it's always the right thing. I'm not always saying, and I've experienced guys being vocal, but when they're vocal once every 5 times, that one can't hold the same weight as the other 4 times they weren't. Just because they didn't say it the other 4. So when you say like women are more vocal, you may say it more often. That doesn't mean a guy isn't vocal, because most of the time guys feel like they take the hit more often. It's like, I'll ride it out. Then when we don't, like, hey, look, I didn't like such and such. It's like, oh, why you like, oh, stop, get out. You know, do you understand what I'm saying?
I just feel like Brittany light your ass up, but go ahead.
I know, go ahead. Brittany, I'm ready. Come on. What you mean?
No, I'm just trying to understand, because I feel like what you're saying is a lie.
Huh?
I feel like you're lying. I feel like I'm not gonna call you a liar, right? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Hey, that's like when she said the watch thing. I was like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? She said it wasn't ticking. I was like, yo, okay. Like, but Brittany, I know you're not calling me a liar. I got you, but go ahead.
No, I'm not
that guy. We good. Go ahead.
I don't agree with your opinion.
Which one? Which part of it?
In terms of like, there's a discrepancy when it comes to accountability, because just as much as you can speak up or something can fly over your head, the same thing goes for men and women. To Asia's point, I don't think when Asia took the words right out of my mouth. So you mean to tell me men not really out here thinking they stuff just flying over their head? It happens quite like, I feel like women, you said that men don't vote, or they do vocalize, but just not as often as women, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't get their point across. That's the problem. Y'all sit on things for so long, I feel like, to the point that it bottles up. It's like shaking a thing of Coke, and then it just explodes. Like, y'all sit on it because it's like, oh, all right. You were pointing out that Princess, oh, she knows this self-awareness, she knows she da, but then she don't, how many times you gonna let this ride? And then at the 6th point, it's like, really? What you doing? Man, you didn't say nothing. You didn't say a thing. So to me, yeah, we both know what's up, but you didn't say nothing. As a woman, I feel like we always gonna step to you and be like, bruh, I didn't like that. Why you keep doing that? What you keep doing that for? If you letting it ride, like how long?
Brittany, I got you. Now you were got. So I'm gonna say this. I agree on one thing that I didn't make clear. If he blows up, I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with you. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that being a blow up, because that means you had to have been passive aggressive the other time, and I don't agree with that. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. So we're gonna have to go to a next level of real.
Okay.
If your man complained every time he felt something, he would not be your man.
Is it complaining though?
So I'm gonna put that could be TBD. But what I'm saying is, if every time something happened that a guy disagreed with, he vocalized it, I don't see that relationship being as productive as it could be. I just don't. Maybe as toxic masculinity, whatever words we want to flip in 2022. But I would say this: if you are saying something every time you don't like something, and I am saying something every time we don't, it's like the give and take. Like, in general, some things you could just, as dudes, and I really want y'all to come after me if I'm tripping, you just take the hit. Like, everything's not worth that argument. Everything's not worth that. If it's that detrimental and it's changing, it can shift the culture of our relationship, I'll say something. But you all feel the need to say stuff on things all the time, which I feel like is normalized, is cool. That doesn't bother me, because on the other side, like I'm in tune with my emotions. I know what I'm feeling. I have emotional intelligence. In my opinion, like I can know if I'm upset, and I can say like, yo, I'm not gonna say nothing to you, but I'm also like, I'm chilling right now. Like I'm cool. I don't want to talk about it, but like let's let it ride right now because it's not an argument to me. I didn't like something. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna chill right now. I didn't like it. It'd be that. If your man, any of you all's man, dating, whatever the case would be, complained, or let me not say complain, said something every time he felt indifferent. Are you really sitting up here saying you want to hear that?
It's not a matter. You don't want to hear it every time we have to bring it up.
That don't
either.
stop you though.
It doesn't stop. So for me, let me speak on Brittany Nicole on tonight. For me, I want you to speak up. I've had this situation come before because why? I'm gonna keep doing those same things that you don't like. Why? Because I don't know. And until you bring it up, I don't mean. First of all, if you have a problem with every little thing that I do, then let's double check our compatibility here. Let's double check where we stand in this relationship. Am I really the one for you? Are you for me? Because if you gotta complain, this ain't gonna work. But if you are like my husband, if we made it that far, you took a vow before God, we done went through the works, and you can come to me and talk to me about things. I appreciate that a lot. Just because I'm gonna tell you what I don't like all the time.
And you don't think he's accepted that? You don't think he accepted that in his wife?
Yes, but what I'm saying is it should be reciprocated. Like I feel like men, instead of just, and it doesn't have, that's the thing though, like people always feel like it has to be an argument or you're always nagging or complaining. It could literally just be a conversation. Like, yo, babe, today you did X, Y, and Z. Let's figure out something else. How else we gonna do this? How else? Because I ain't really like that, and that should be okay. But that goes back to levels of maturity in your relationship, and when you get there and knowing your partner, because not everybody's gonna be cool with that. But if you all have established that, building your foundation, because it needs to be strong in order to get to where it needs to be, then you should be able to have those conversations. I don't think there's a discrepancy.
Can I just, Princess? I'm gonna stop after this. I just got one question: it's yes or no. Then, Princess, it's all you please. You use a great C word. Do you feel like you would be compatible with somebody that's just as vocal as you are? Checkmate. Thank you.
Is that a question for me?
It could be a question for any of y'all. But the question Brittany said, like, we have to check out compatibility. So my question to you is, if he was as verbal as you, do you think the compatibility would tell you that he needs to be at? Do you think you would be compatible with somebody as verbal as you?
You go ahead.
I mean, all y'all can answer, but
No. I'm gonna go ahead. I've said my piece.
Oh wow.
Oh wait. Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
All right, Princess Asia. I can't wait to hear this.
I do feel like I can't be compatible.
Mm-hmm.
Do I feel like it will probably be annoying at some points? Yes, but I feel like that comes with maturity.
Okay.
But yes, I think that's fine. To your point about like you feel like if a man has so much to say, you know, whatever, that's not your man. I agree with Brittany that it should be both ways. Like I should be able to say, you know, what's on my mind, and you should be able to say what's on your mind. And I feel like it shouldn't be all the time. Like I feel like I shouldn't be, if we want to use the complaining word, I shouldn't be constantly complaining all the time. And you shouldn't be constantly complaining all the time. Because if we complaining all the time, we don't need to be together. But the issue is for me, and what I see a tendency is for men, is I feel like men oftentimes let a lot of stuff ride and they don't speak up, or they'll speak up like one time and then just like continue to let stuff happen. And instead of having healthy conversations about stuff, actions change.
Yeah.
And that leaves the door open for other things to take place in the relationship instead of having those conversations. Because it's like, I brought it to you once, but I'm not about to be this complainer, you know, who keeps bringing stuff to my woman. So I'm going to say it one time, and if whatever don't change, then I'm going to sit back. And if it continues, then I'm going to take other actions as necessary. But for the woman, we're more vocal. We're going to say it one time, we're going to say it 2 times, we're going to say it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So I feel like that's the difference. Would you agree or no?
85%.
Okay.
And I would say the reason being, if I took complaint out, when I say verbal, because naturally most women, so y'all might not be in the most, okay? Naturally, most women feel like they're smarter than men, right? So when y'all say things that's not complaining, but it's a subliminal message of something, you think he didn't receive it. So it may be something like, I'm trying to think of something I've done in the past month. That's probably like, so I can't think of it off the top of my head but when I say like verbal, it's not always a complaint, but it could be something that you say and I catch on to what you're trying to tell me, but you ain't necessarily, you know what I'm saying, place something in the complaint department. You just said something real slick, real quick, just to let me know that I know. And it ain't really meant for no conversation, but that's a part of being verbal though. You understand what I'm saying? But I'll be real. I'm not no type I don't want my wife. First of all, she ain't, but I don't want no wife that's like quiet and not gonna tell. That's just not me. And I know I'm a talker and I know I talk shit. So I'm gonna need somebody that's gonna say something back. You understand me? But I think when I say verbalize, I mean you all, especially when you're smart, y'all are smart. So that means like if you see something that's stupid or not on your level of expectation, you may not complain, but you're gonna send a little message to let them know that was stupid. And people's sensitivity levels are different. So for me, saying earlier, I get a little message, I'm like, damn, she got me. So I'm not gonna say nothing about it because she got me. I see what she's saying. I may not agree, but I see what she's saying. Damn, okay. Damn, she got me. That's not to me, that's not a like, but I can even say if I can even argue it down, but I understand where she's coming from. I'm not going to say something. Even if I can't argue it down, it's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. She got me, like, cool, it's not worth it. If I say something that's subliminal and you catch on to it, you're like, oh, hell no. That ain't how that are y'all letting that ride? Asia, am I tripping?
Depends on what type of mood we're in.
See, thank you.
I was gonna say that's
especially for me.
I feel that's literally how I feel, Princess. Like it really depends because it could be like a jokey joke type thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I could kiki one day, and this part is really not fair to y'all, and I will say that because it could be one joke you say on a Tuesday, and I'm with it. Oh, we going toe for toe. You know what I'm saying? I got jokes, you got jokes. You say that same thing on Friday, we're fighting. Like now I'm upset. No, it's not funny. Like now it's like, you know what I'm saying? And it's true.
It's hard out here for us, bro. It's hard out here for us, man.
It is. And I'm not gonna get into because I really do think some of it is on us, right? But I also think some of it is biological. We won't have that discussion today. Because I really do think that does play a role in some stuff too. Because even for us, and I'll say this piece, there'll be sometimes and I'm like, why did I even get mad about that? And I think that's the part also sometimes that men don't really take into account how sometimes us women, we know when we tripping.
For real?
We know, yeah. We will say some stuff like
self-awareness.
Yeah, see how quiet Brittany is. Brittany's like not even. I mean, she's looking down, shitty.
Because there will be times, and I'll speak for me. I will speak for me. There will be times, and I know this is bad, but I'll be like, yo, I already said it. I'm in it now. You gotta stick with this one. Knowing good and daggone well, I'm gonna apologize for it later on because I know I'm tripping. I know I am.
So but you will apologize, though.
Huh? Yeah.
You will apologize later?
If I know I'm tripping, I'll say something later. I will.
I will too.
Cause I know I'm tripping. Know I'm tripping. I'm just in it. I'm just not going back down right now.
That's two. Brittany, you apologizing?
Yeah, but I'm not apologizing until the next day.
Honestly,
I don't think I've ever. There has been times where I've come to the realization that, like, hold on, wait a minute, take a couple steps back, sis. Like, it wasn't really that serious. But that aha moment doesn't come until later, and I'm not going back like, hey, babe, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. I meant what I said. Like,
it's a cold world.
But at 12, if it's 12:01, we still awake. It's the next day. Okay, then I'm gonna apologize. I will. I always. You have to apologize. That's a part of taking accountability. You have to apologize when you're wrong. It's the only way you're gonna grow. However, I do agree with Asia. There are times where we do recognize that we are wrong, but we already then said a mouthful. And then y'all men are good for this. When we are wrong and we keep going, y'all dig an even deeper hole that lights a new fire that I'm like, okay, now I got something else to go off of. Because I might have been wrong, but you're so dumb. You still going on trying to prove your point. So here we go. We might as well start something else.
And you know what? I will give you that. And I've been a victim of that until I turned about 25. I learned how to shut up. And I'm gonna tell you why. Why you learn how to shut up. Because really, all women need a little bit they need a little bit, they can turn into a whole lot. If you learn to shut up, even when you shouldn't, even when there should be things said, you can't really get in trouble for shutting up. You can make it seem like you in trouble. It can seem like you were supposed to say something, but you really can't. I didn't say anything. I can't be. And in marriage and maturity, my wife was the first person in my life. We done got into some shebangs. And I'm like, you know what? I was wrong with it. And she said, like, oh, do you feel like I should apologize? I'm like, oh, yeah, like, but I realize there's been scenarios now when she'll say something like, oh, well, I hope you ain't expecting one from me because I ain't. And I will stand in my position, and they both have been respected in the instance. You know what I'm saying? Because I will say this, and this comes with maturity and respect too. When we get into it, we don't have those like shebangs no more. Like we just passed that part. Like it don't get super, super reckless. You know what I mean? When we was young, like you get mad, say something dumb. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't sleeping in the other room. I ain't sleeping in the guest room. I ain't sleeping on the couch. Like, you know what I mean? Like now, have I stayed downstairs about 2, 3 in the morning sometimes and then go up? Yes. You know what I'm saying? But I wish Jay was here. He will tell you. Me and Jay have been in some heated battles 2-on-2. And I'm like, hey, bro, in front of women, shut up. Stop talking. Because to you all's point, we're only made to have a conversation past a certain point when we're mad. Men are only made to have a conversation to a certain point when we get upset. When we get upset, it can't go past level 5. If you get past level 5, shut up. Abort mission. Don't say nothing. Take the hit. You're going to be mad tonight. Tomorrow when it happened, baby, I was tripping. You just got to. Because y'all are more likely to put that in y'all treasure chest that y'all going to keep for the rest of your life than we are. So that's why you shut up.
That's facts. I hope y'all listening because that honestly is the key. If you be quiet, like you don't say nothing, there's nothing that we can, unless you one of those that's like, oh, so you quiet now, then that's a whole nother. But if you honestly, if you're just, you got to learn. I always say this. I always tell my husband this: pick and choose your battles. Sure. You know me. You know me. You know your partner. For y'all, everybody listening out there, y'all know y'all partners. Pick and choose your battles. Is it worth it? Because if it's not, just be quiet.
Yep.
That's it.
For sure.
That's it.
For sure.
Yep.
Boy, eyes can be burning inside of the head in that car. I ain't saying nothing. I'm straight. Nah. I'm like, hey Cam, you good? I ain't saying nothing. Nope. You ain't gonna. I'm telling you, I'm not. It took me a long time to realize that. It took me a long time. But I do think, back to the original point, I do think men being overly verbal. Like, I think subliminal messages coming from a guy between a relationship, man to woman, is not a good look. The emotional intelligence beam is too tilted for us to try to be subliminal as often as y'all. I'll be real. I don't miss too many subliminal messages, but I don't know if this is toxic. I think men got to have a tough skin to a certain degree. Like, you can't let everything she says, and we're only talking about the moments when it's heated. We're not talking about all the time. Like, you can't let everything be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't. And I just think in life, that's not productive. If you let everything be a thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's been times Britt has been on fire when I came home. She is on fire. And I say something to her, she real spicy back. I'm like, well, literally, we haven't talked all day. I know I haven't done anything. You got your moment, baby. I'm gonna roll out. But there's a lot of dudes. Oh, bro, like, what you mean? Why you like? No. Think. If y'all ain't talked, you ain't did nothing. Get out the room. Don't say nothing. Get up out of there. Take the babies. Do what you got to do. But again, if we were verbal and send subliminal messages, like a lot of dummies do, that's gonna blow up. But you gotta be able to think, fellas. You gonna cash at me on this too? Ask yourself 2 questions. Did I do anything? Is there an escape route? If it's no and yes, get up out of there. There's no point, because 9 times out of 10 arguments, real arguments, let's say in a year, 10 real arguments, 2 are really rooted in y'all issue. Especially when you parents, when you work, if you got other stuff going, out of 10 arguments, 2 are really rooted in a real issue. The other 8 is like, you had a bad day, she had a bad day. One of y'all don't know how to shut up. Y'all getting active. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I can agree. And I think men have a tendency to be more sarcastic with their subliminals, because and you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. That's I'm not gonna. Never mind. Scratch that. That's a conversation for another day.
All I'm saying is, never mind. I'm not saying that no more. You're right. I'm quiet.
Y'all sure? Because I'm about to close this out. So if y'all want to say something, say something.
Okay, and I'm gonna end it on here. Fellas, I'm telling you right now, when your wife is not mad at you or your girlfriend dating whoever, look at what she does when she's pissed off with other people, so you can identify when it's not you. When she's had a long day, look at what she does when she's had a long day, so you can walk in and know that, you know what, that's long day stress. If her sibling pissed her off, look at what she does. That means that's family stress. You gonna know when it's you. Look at what she does when she's not pissed off with you, so you know when it's not you. Get up out of there. All right, that's it.
They really might have to cash app you on that one, Keenan.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a key.
Just a little, been in the game a little while, just a little while.
His 13 years, y'all. 13. And with that being said, this has been another episode of Small Talk. You already know, 3 queens, 1 king, Princess and Keenan. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode, and we will see y'all in another episode. Bye.
So appreciate y'all having me.
Oh, I'm
you gotta stop.
Yeah.